This evening, first up, a chilling social media video threatens one of Ghana's top drug busters by name. Tonight, Kanu Director James Singh has extra security, law enforcement is hunting for those responsible, and the government's message is unmistakable. Come after our officers and face the consequences. Then, nearly 16,000 students pick up their pencils Wednesday morning for the 2026 National Grade 6 Assessment. Tonight, everything parents and pupils need to know, and from all of us here at Headline News, best of luck to every single one of them. Plus, faster response, digital tracking, and no more delays. The Ministry of Human Services is overhauling Ghana's child protection system from the ground up. Tonight, the reforms Minister Persaud says will ensure no child case ever falls through the cracks again. Meanwhile, Dennis Street vendors are getting a new home. Minister Edghill promises a fair lottery, a proper tarmac, and zero tolerance for shanty operations. Roadworks are coming, but he says no one will be left behind. And two passenger trains collide outside Jakarta, killing at least 7 and injuring more than 80. Survivors describe chaos and carnage as rescue teams work through the night to free the trapped. Tonight, the latest from Indonesia. Those stories and more coming up. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for April 28, 2026. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, a chilling threat against one of Ghana's top anti-narcotics officials has triggered a swift government response and a firm warning to those behind it. The Ministry of Human Services has confirmed that a video circulating on social media appears to contain direct threats against Kanu Director James Singh. Law enforcement agencies have launched an active investigation into the video's origin, authenticity, and intent, while security measures have been stepped up to protect those targeted. The threat comes as Kanu intensifies its crackdown on drug trafficking. In the first quarter of 2026 alone, the unit seized more than 370 kilograms of narcotics and dismantled multiple trafficking networks through intelligence-led operations. The government is leaving no room for ambiguity. Intimidation will not be tolerated. Authorities say anyone found responsible for threatening law enforcement officials will face the full weight of the law. In a strong statement, the ministry reaffirmed its commitment to dismantling organized criminal networks, both domestic and transnational, declaring that no individuals or group will be permitted to undermine the rule of law or threaten those sworn to uphold it. Investigations are ongoing. On a different note, nearly 16,000 young Guyanese are set to sit one of the most defining moments of their primary school journey. The Ministry of Education has confirmed that 15,938 pupils nationwide have registered to write the 2026 National Grade 6 Assessment, scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday this week. Students will tackle English and Science on April 29th, followed by Mathematics and Social Studies on April 30th. Each subject will split across morning and afternoon sessions. Minister of Education Sonia Parag convened a readiness meeting on Monday with ministry leadership to review final preparations, with the focus firmly on ensuring a smooth and fair examination experience for all candidates across the country. The ministry offered an encouraging message to all sitting the exams. Behind every number is a student preparing, learning, and aiming for their next step, reaffirming its commitment to supporting every learner through this critical milestone. Systems are in place nationwide to guarantee a seamless process, the ministry noted. The team at Headline News wishes all students sitting the 2026 National Grade 6 Assessment the very best as they take this important step in their academic journey. In similar news, the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security is implementing major reforms to strengthen Guyana's child protection system, including rapid response measures and digital tracking, to improve accountability and expedite the handling of abuse cases. Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Minister Persaud said the reforms are aimed at closing gaps in the current system and ensuring no child protection case is delayed or left unattended. Among the new measures is a rapid response program now being rolled out in several regions, allowing for immediate interventions in urgent child abuse cases, including after work hours, through coordinated action between police and child protection officers.
The rapid response program, though, has started in Region 4 and covers 3, 4, 5, and to some extent 6 and 10. So this is a program we are building out to fill a gap that existed when I came in that after work into the next morning, there was no one going to deal with these. So we started the program and we now have persons who can respond all through the night, and so they can address these cases as they come in, because when it comes to children, police cannot remove a child alone. A child protection officer must always be there with them, with the police.
Minister Persaud stressed that child protection officers must be present during interventions involving children, noting that police cannot remove a child without their involvement. The ministry is also enhancing its digital case management system to enable real-time tracking of reports and the point of intake through to resolution, improving oversight and accountability throughout the process.
Also looking at creating a digital tracking system. We've started that process and we will be improving on it this year and next year so that every case that comes to our attention is tracked. Something I'm very, very, very insistent on, and sometimes I feel the team feels I'm always, but I want to know who took the report, when was it taken, what happened next, when was the medical report done, when was the FI completed, when did the report go to the DPP, at the DPP, how long did it take before anything happened? Because there's, like gender-based violence, there's a process.
Additional upgrades are being made to ensure timely medical examinations, forensic interviews, and legal referrals, while reducing delays that could compromise investigations or further traumatize victims. Although staffing shortages remain in some regions, the minister said recruitment and training efforts are ongoing to improve nationwide coverage. The ministry says the reform forms part of a broader push to create more responsive, accountable, and child-sensitive protection system across the country. Stick around when we return. No business left behind. Minister Edghill promises seamless transition for Sophia vendors, and Guyana's big week for workplace safety.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Roadworks won't mean lost livelihoods. Minister of Public Works Bishop on Edghill has assured vendors along Dennis Street, Sophia, that their businesses will remain fully protected as major rehabilitation works press ahead in the area. In a meeting held in the ministry's boardroom, Minister Edghill outlined a structured relocation plan that will see vendors transition to a newly constructed designated tarmac within 2 weeks. Spaces will be allocated through a transparent lottery system with additional transition support available on a needs basis. The minister was direct about the timeline, warning that once vendors draw their spot numbers, they must relocate by the following day, as the corridor will immediately be handed over to the contractors. But Edghill's vision goes beyond logistics. He challenged vendors to raise the bar for their new spaces, encouraging them to access development bank loans to beautify and grow their businesses long term. This can't be a shanty-tongue operation, he stated firmly. Vendors responded positively, pledging full cooperation with the relocation exercise. The move is part of a broader infrastructure transformation along Dennis Street, which is being upgraded from the Eastern Highway east to Red Road. Upon completion, the corridor will feature 2 widened lanes, improved drainage, and rehabilitated bridges, a significant upgrade set to benefit the entire Sophia community. In other news, April 28th marks World Day for Safety and Health at Work. The Ministry of Labor and Manpower Planning hosted its Occupational Safety and Health Symposium 2026 today at the Arthur Chung Conference Center as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen workplace safety standards across Guyana. Under the theme, Putting Safety First, today's engagement brought together representatives from government, the private sector, international organizations, and other stakeholders to examine good psychosocial working environments, the pathway to thriving workers and strong organizations. Labor Minister Kiyomo Griffith delivered remarks at the event, while Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips gave the feature address. Representatives from the International Labor Organization and private sector partners were also slated to participate. The program included presentations and panel discussions on key workplace issues, including psychosocial working environments, human behavior in workplace safety, safety culture, leadership, and adapting to emerging occupational risks. The ministry said the symposium reflects its continued commitment to promoting compliance with occupational safety and health standards and ensuring safety and healthy work environments across all sectors. Stakeholders are being encouraged to participate as Guyana continues efforts to strengthen its national occupational safety and health framework. The Ministry of Labor and Manpower Planning says stricter occupational safety and health standards will continue to be enforced as part of intensified efforts to protect workers across Guyana. The ministry will be hosting an occupational safety and health village and job fair on April 29th and 30th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Main Street, Georgetown, where you can explore job opportunities, connect with employers, and get practical workplace safety insights all in one place. Don't go away after the break. UN Security Council deadlocks as Strait of Hormuz crisis deepens, and Bangladesh faces mobile disruption as fuel crisis hits telecom towers.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Gittins. Tonight, CARICOM secures major funding to boost climate resilience and regional development. The UN Security Council stalled on rising tensions in the Strait of Hormuz. Bangladesh faces a deepening power crisis, and a deadly train collision in Indonesia leaves dozens injured. We will begin in the Caribbean. The CARICOM Secretariat and JEET has signed 6 agreements worth toward 1.9 million euros to support regional development projects. The initiatives, running through 2029, will focus on climate resilience, renewable energy, biodiversity, and skills training. Officials say the partnership with Germany strengthens efforts to promote sustainable and inclusive growth while boosting institutional capacity and environmental management across Caribbean member states. The United Nations Security Council has failed to take action on the escalating crisis in the Strait of Hormuz as global tensions over maritime security continue to rise. More from Al Jazeera.
During the Security Council meeting, we heard many appeals for de-escalation and for reopening the Strait of Hormuz, where thousands of cargo ships remain stranded and 20,000 or so maritime workers remain stranded as well. We heard from many briefers, including the Secretary General Antonio Guterres himself, focused on the impact these shipping disruptions are having on the world's most vulnerable countries and people, with 20% of oil and natural gas coming through the strait. Bahrain called this meeting, backed by dozens of countries suffering from higher fuel prices as a result of the blockade, describing the closure of the strait as a violation of international law. They called for an end to attacks on ships and an end to blocking Iranian ports. The U.S. and Iranian ambassadors had this to say.
The United States is acting like pirates and terrorists, targeting commercial vessels through coercion and intimidation, terrorizing the crew, unlawfully seizing ships and taking crew members hostage. But no one from those who have expressed their concerns for international navigation dares to refer to or condemn this terrorist act at today's meeting.
The United Nations was built for times like this. We have been here before. Colleagues, now is not the time for simple words. Now is the time to act.
No action was taken by the Security Council. However, a past resolution that called for reopening the strait was blocked by China and Russia. Russia blaming the United States and Israel for their, quote, unprovoked attack on Iran as the source of the problem. Kristen Salumi, Al Jazeera, the United Nations.
Bangladesh's deepening power and fuel crisis is severely straining mobile networks, with millions at risk of losing reliable connectivity. Al Jazeera's Tanvi Chowdhury reports.
In Dhamrai, a small rural area about 35 kilometers from the capital Dhaka, shop owner Ziaul Haq now works by candlelight.
With frequent power cuts, the network has become unreliable. We can't do much online. Even on IMO or WhatsApp, calls drop within a minute, and regular phone calls often drop or audio fades.
Making a simple phone call is becoming a daily struggle in many parts of Bangladesh, as power cuts and fuel shortages begin to hit mobile networks. The situation is even worse in rural areas and small towns like Dhamrai, where outages are leaving mobile towers without power for up to 8 hours a day.
When I try to watch videos, it keeps buffering, cuts out, and sometimes the network drops completely, even when there's a signal.
Bangladesh has more than 185 million mobile users, but power cuts are steadily weakening network quality. The impact has also been felt in critical sectors like healthcare, banking, and businesses.
The ongoing power shortage is severely disrupting our healthcare services, from online banking and digital payments to lab tests and health reports. We're also facing frequent call drops and poor internet connectivity, which is now even impacting critical care services.
Telecom operators are warning that prolonged power cuts and fuel shortages are putting the entire network under severe strain. Behind me is a mobile phone tower running on backup power as power cuts stretch for hours. Mobile operators say if fuel shortages continues, millions across Bangladesh could soon lose reliable network signal altogether. Analysts warn that any major disruption could also affect emergency services, disaster response, and the wider economy. Tanvi Chaudhary, Al Jazeera, Sabar, Bangladesh.
At least 7 people have been killed and more than 80 injured after 2 passenger trains collided outside Jakarta. Al Jazeera Kali Callahan reports.
2 trains mangled together after colliding at a station outside the capital, Jakarta. The impact so intense, trapped commuters had to be rescued from the twisted carriages.
I really thought I was going to die, especially because the evacuation took a long time, since people were piled on top of each other. I felt like I was going to run out of breath, but thankfully I survived. It still feels like a dream.
Hundreds of people were on board the trains at the time, on their way home from work.
I'm thinking about the people who were underneath me, the ones who were already crushed. I don't think they made it out because when they were underneath me, they were already convulsing. They couldn't breathe.
The crash happened when a long-distance train slammed into the back of a stationary commuter train. Officials say the commuter train may have stopped after being hit by a taxi at a nearby level crossing.
We are fully handing over the investigation process to the National Transportation Safety Committee so that we can obtain the objective results we need to improve the train services in the future.
Emergency services have treated dozens of injured passengers and continued working throughout the night to free survivors. Kaylee Callahan, Al Jazeera.
Thanks, Dominic. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-minute forecast. And that's Safety with 2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. from the news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.